bloom, the fumes, all up in your room. It's all on Boom Radio.
Good day and welcome to the Boom Bar on Boom Radio NG, reaching you from Lagos, Nigeria. My name is Sola Rogers.
And my name is Dolupo. I bid you a warm welcome to the bar this very, very interesting afternoon. It is Tuesday, yeah? Okay, so that I don't get my wires crossed.
Sha one day, Sha, in the week.
Well, Sha still in the week. Anyway, good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you're listening to us from, it is the Boom Bar, like he said, right here on Boom Radio NG. And this is bringing you all gist from entertainment, sport, politics, human angle stories, and basically everything else in between. The thing is, we seem to have a plan. A lot of times, most of the time, it doesn't go as planned. But the point is, the gist is there, and that's basically what everything in between is. So we're giving you everything as it comes in, as we have planned, or as it comes in, whichever mission mash, as long as it works. So sit back, relax, and let's get into today's show. And today's show is going to be very interesting. There are a few things that we're going to be looking into today. The president's credentials looks like this drama does not seem to be going anywhere anytime soon. And for people's monies that are vanishing, shall I to you people that seem to have quite some lots of money. Because at the end of the day, you're looking at it are banks really even the way to go now? I think it's a conversation we need to have. Anyway, let's get right into it. As the show is beginning with the issue of the president's credentials and specifically his university records. And this conversation has been going on, I think, from election time, and how there's been talks of how there's been a few discrepancies, and if he went to this school or if he didn't go to that school. Now, the basic thing is if he went to Chicago State University. I know that if you're a child of history, you will know that there's been conversations about this, whether there was stories of it being either Chicago State University or University of Chicago or something funny like that. There's always been like an issue around it from as far back as when he was governor. And you would have thought that, okay, at some point, that thing was put to rest then. You would think that it would go. But it does not look like it is going anywhere anytime soon. And because of that, there's now Chicago State University, which in the past couple of days, there's been a lot of I know that for the past couple of weeks, the PDP presidential candidate had written to the FBI, I think written to even the school, talking about his credentials and all that. And there was a statement from the school that he actually attended this school. But looks like people are not backing down. Or don't let me say, people, more like people want the way it is beginning to look. Yeah, it's beginning to look like people want some things, this conversation to go a certain way. So if it is not going that certain way, there is a problem.
I guess that's the way life is. Like they say, that's how the cookie crumbles. There's a certain thing that people want and other people don't want it. So when we say people, we only mean a cross section of people because there are different interests in this whole brouhaha. We're actually taking this now from the angle of the Chicago State University having to lock their Twitter/X account, something that they were forced to do, obviously, due to the level of harassment by Nigerians on their timeline. One of the things that led to this was when they tweeted some kind of welcome. You know, in America now, it's new season for students to resume school, and they put out a tweet, you know, sending that information out. And on that timeline, you will go through it and find a lot of Twitter handles or X handles. We'll never get used to calling that thing X. So Twitter handles who are Nigerian and Nigerian affiliated, basically going off on a tangent on them. Not tweeting about the thing that they put out, but basically, you know, going on and on about how they are compromised, how the school is corrupt, and how they've allowed themselves to be used by Bola Tinubu. They called him also names that I am not at liberty to use on air because it's until it's, you know, proven by a court of law that these things that you say are a fact. And I know that we in like the industry that we play in now, especially those of us who are more online than mainstream, there's certain words and content that if you tap into it and start to use it, you will grow exponentially. Your views will skyrocket, and you get a lot of supportership, which is going to trickle down to Naira and Kobo for you, or dollars, right? But being a professional, being someone who has been in the industry for a couple of days now, you don't want to walk down that route.
Yeah.
Again, especially for posterity's sake, knowing that we repose all confidence in the Nigerian judiciary.
You know, for me, I would say that this idea of cyberbullying, the sad part is that only if we realize that how many of these things really do work. If Chicago State University has come out to say that he attended the university, he did. Why? It's almost like a lot of people are angry that they're saying it's not. It's like it is what it is. So because things do not go a certain way or do not go the way that we expect it to go, then there's a problem. I think that it is a very, very bad precedent that we're dealing with. And sadly, call it, some people might call it whatever, but this is the same country that, or a few other countries that we call sinner climes, that a lot of people want to jackpot to.
Yeah.
And these are the same set of people that if you have a problem with your country, you are quick to write open letters and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Too. But they give you a certain thing and you have a problem with it. If you have a problem with it,
because it's definitely not what it should be in their own books. Like, they have certain opinion leaders in on the side of look. Let's not beat about the bush, right? On the side of Peter Obi supporters, the people who, once they put something out, there's going to be 1,001. Multiply that by 5 or 10. People agreeing, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah,
nobody's going to question
I just wish that
anything. Nobody's going to research anything.
A young generation that actually thinks, that actually does not just swallow things just because people gave you these things.
So to put
and I'm not saying that they're right or wrong, but
to put it in perspective, you know, the case in the US was instigated not by Peter Obi, but by Abubakar Atiku. And they might be onto something. They're talking about multiple signatories to certificates and all sorts of anomalies in quote that the quotes that are ascribed to Atiku's lawyer, who is actually based in the US.
Yeah.
A lot of people have used that to also reverse it and throw shades at Atiku back and say you that you're. But that's not the bone of contention here now. Is that they're basically contesting the authenticity or the veracity of the claim that Bola Tinubu is an alumni of the Chicago State University.
But isn't it sad that you're going to continue. I just wanted to.
Please go ahead.
Isn't it sad that the Atiku camp that even if instigated this case, they're not being as uncouth?
Well, there was a tweet by Atiku himself, his verified handle at the weekend, that I feel was uncouth. I feel was completely not presidential or gentlemanly. So I don't think.
No, maybe him. I think that is the people. There are a lot of people. This man has a lot of following. We don't see as much vile behavior because, left to me, I think a lot of these things that we see.
But that doesn't excuse.
Oh, it doesn't excuse what he's put out. Oh, yes.
And that's what they are latching on and they are ramping up.
I agree.
Now, listen, I get where you're going with a certain group of Peter Obi supporters who are more or less been tagged as cyber bullies. I get that. But they feel that they're fighting for something and it's within
even if you're going
their rights.
this cyberbullying, how does that?
Have you see, let's look at things in perspective. Have you looked at the reactions of the leaders of the Labour Party movement and the Peter Obi movement? Has anybody come out to condemn any of these things that are happening? Have any one of them come out to say, no, we do not support
we don't do these
you
things this way.
going to
so
the
it's
Twitter
so it's
handle
of it's a Labour Party thing.
It's a strategy. It's their thing. They're running a campaign called All Eyes on the Judiciary. They're putting out billboards in different parts of Nigeria. Even if they shut down the one in Abuja, there's one in Delta.
Yeah, I think he said they took down everything.
And different parts of the country. They're giving out T-shirts. There are all sorts of things that they're doing because I feel that is their strategy. They feel that by ramping up,
because it almost looks like we're getting to a
judiciary
point where it's beginning to look more like intimidation.
Well, they feel that they are just having a chance to voice what they want and need. However, we are taking it now. When I say we, I mean we as Nigerians, taking it to the point where a foreign university has been forced to lock. And I know that a lot of people are celebrating it and they're happy and they're jubilating, but every action has consequences.
You cannot.
I really hope that everybody that is involved in these campaigns have thought it through. Like,
yes,
you really
the consequences of and the ripple effect this is going to have. And this is why we keep saying that a lot of times our actions are not just about us only. It is as simple as saying that. I'm trying to think of that Kashim Shettima is not an alumnus of University of Ibadan, and then University of Ibadan comes and says he's an alumnus. I don't think they owe anybody else any other explanation other than that. Yeah,
because again, some of the documents that are being pushed around was a letter that was written to one of their people from their camp last year when they went to make inquiries.
Yeah, I remember there was a statement. Reno Mokri.
Before Reno, in responding to that person, which means that in the person's inquiry was asking about tuition, how tuition was paid, what passport was used, what address, and a couple of things that are actually personal information. Now them saying that they don't have that, and they don't speak to that, means that they are compromised, according to our brothers and
so
sisters.
I went to university. How is the university's business how I paid my fees? I'm not sure that it was part of the requirements for you to determine how your fees are paid. Like, at times where, like, I'm just saying, I don't know, however, but the little that I know about going to school, primary school, secondary school, the university, you get to pay your fees and that's it.
Well, as a pushback by Bola Tinubu's people on Twitter, some of them put out, an image of his yearbook in school.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at it again, it doesn't help because his name was spelled wrongly. Do you understand? They just wrote THUBV something, and it looked like maybe the person was trying to write a Tinubu, but they wrote, but bottom line is his name was misspelled. This also fanned the embers of discord to say.
But I just feel that
issues.
I still go back
sorted.
to the fact that if you are asking a question, we're getting to a point where people have a preconceived mind and a preconceived notion. So if you are asking a question and the question does not align with what you think the answer should be, then it's automatically wrong.
Yeah, and again, one of my fears,
and I think it's very sad.
One of the things that I'm worried about, is that we are more or less already preempting the judiciary.
Yeah.
We should actually make up our minds. If you're going to believe in the judiciary and you went to court to prove that you won an election and it was wrongly given to someone else, you should allow the judiciary to do its work. As against, all these strategies, I'm worried that if it doesn't go your way, like you already think it won't go your way, you would resort to other means. And these are the
I really just also feel that in the things that we do, I think that a lot of people do not think some of these things through. That's my personal opinion. I think that some of the things that we claim to do in the name of fighting for rights and all that, we've seen in the last couple of years how actions of a small, like very, very minute set of people compared to the population of Nigeria. If we go back to, take for example, Dubai, the UAE basically, and how the actions of a very tiny amount of people, because if we compare it to the population of Nigeria, it's almost inconsequential. How the actions of a certain amount of people have caused and had a ripple effect that have caused a lot of hardship for a large number of people. We've seen it happen in a couple of places, in a couple of countries, and I think that we really, really need to be careful. Even personally, we're at a point where when you do anything now, your social media is out in the open, your social media is checked.
But one of the things that you also need to take into cognizance when it comes to checking people's social media is that the bulk of these people are using fake burner Twitter handles. The bulk of them. Okay. Most of them are. Not all, but most of them are. So they also feel that there's some kind of anonymity that comes with, social media. But not knowing that if they're going to track you with your fake account or not, they will track you.
They will. I agree. I just think that we really, really need to be careful with the things that we do. Now, moving on from that quickly, and I wanted to, we're going to a very interesting conversation. And this, I'm not sure we ever spoke about it at the bar. We know we had a very lengthy conversation about this. I think it was last week, where we saw a story that a particular woman, a particular Nigerian lady that works in Italy, that's been in Italy for about 20 years, had come to Nigeria a couple of years ago, opened a bank account, and she had she has been saving money. Up until a few months ago, she was supposed to have about 68 million naira in that bank account. Unfortunately, she's back in Nigeria, and the money literally vanished with a balance of 3,000 naira.
They're even nice. It's not zero balance.
Oh my God! Some people are just unfortunate. Are you kidding? That is so irritating. Like, you know, when Kuku take everything, what's 3,000 naira doing there? And the video I saw was that there was a man that was insisting that this money was not taken at the bank, which is supposed to be First Bank, where the money is supposed to be saved in. The manager had come up with stories. It even took them about a week to come up with
the statement of account.
The statement of account. And when it was, we saw how money was being wired in and out of the account, and how money had been taken in little by little by little until it remained 3,000 naira.
And try well.
Now, finally, why they had made that video was because I think they had gone to the DSS and gone to the EFCC, and they had not done anything about it. I think this is a huge indictment. Maybe not, we'll say that it's not the business of the DSS, but the EFCC, last I checked, they are financial crimes now. What else are they supposed to be doing? I think it's a huge indictment on them, especially the EFCC. Even just going to the police in itself should do something.
It should. There are things that we need to constantly harp on and talk about. The inability of people, you know, just regular people, to get justice. And there's one thing that I want to say, kudos to the social media people, warriors out there. A lot of people are helping by putting out, you know, information.
A lot of the stories, yeah.
You find that you can use social media for good. And the Nigerian police and the other military and security apparatus of Nigeria are actually very, very active on social media now, especially on Twitter. Twitter X. But the lady in question, according to a brother, had tried, and these are the issues. How do we help people? How do the regular people, you know, and that's where the media comes in. And for me, they're not just the media, not just social media. I mentioned social media, I'm mentioning the mainstream media, online media and all. So I want to say a big shout out to Brekete family for taking up this case and the way they actually shed a lot of light on the matter. And of course now the bank have finally responded that they're going to investigate.
That they're investigating.
I feel
that they regret. It's a lie. Somebody's somewhere has taken the money.
I feel that they should not have taken this long to respond, to say they are investigating. If they're just responding now, maybe what they should be saying is, we have investigated and we have found the source. Because the woman is so detailed and she actually lives abroad. So she no can collect money now who carry 68 million waka. And you know, it's so mean that you stole 68 million naira and left 3,000 naira.
I think it's more insulting. And the truth is that we need to look into and sadly, this is not the first time I'm hearing this kind of things. In fact, there's always just about how people, especially maybe dead people or people they've not heard from in a while, how there's been allegations of bank officials moving people's monies from one place to another. If we were preached to for years that you shouldn't keep money at home, you should keep money in the bank. And then you keep the same money in the bank and somebody feels that they're entitled to your money.
Yes, sir.
Because I feel that is an entitlement. They are entitled to your money and they can take your money.
They feel that you are so dumb.
You will not notice 68 million naira. Are you joking? They probably were praying that this woman will be late. Or something. Because I think that it is the height of ridiculousness. And the fact that it is taking so long for the bank. And I know that First Bank is always going on about how they're the oldest and all that. For you to have stayed this long in the industry, you must have had something going on for you. So what took you so long? And thankfully these days, transfers, once the money gets into a bank, there's always a trail.
Yeah.
So a part of me feels that they're just trying to cover up their tracks and maybe trying to see how they can source for the money. And I think personally, I think this auntie is very calm.
Jesus.
Because you can't take my 6.8 million naira and the MD will not have returned my money by now.
68 million, you mean?
No, you are very deliberate.
Okay.
You can't take my 6.8, you can't take my 680,000 naira. And the MD of First Bank will not care about it and return my money that day.
One time.
Talk less of 68 million naira. I know that there are a lot of people who say naira does not have value. Naira does not have value, but let somebody dash you 6.8 million naira now. You will know that naira has a lot of value.
Naira is naira.
Talk less of six. No matter how bad it is, do you know how much what 68 million naira can do for people's lives? If you give people 10,000 naira, which 10,000 naira is a lot for some people. Do you know the amount of people that 10,000 naira will go through? 68 million.
So
let's stop playing.
The practical solutions to this thing, because these issues, and there are a lot of people out there. It almost happened to me once now that I got alert. I'm like,
they tested you. They just did not know that.
Me that I enter bank before they open their doors. I'm inside the place like
No, like how much was this money?
I can't. We're on air now. It's not plenty money. It's small money, and it was many years ago. You know, so
when they cannot say the amount,
it's too embarrassing.
It's quite some.
No, it was a small amount.
If it was a small amount of money, you will not be in front of the bank before they open the door.
That's all I had now in that account. So,
so they started
in that bank.
You
know,
see?
but those were those days, right? So whatever it was, the thing is that a lot of people have also experienced this, and these are sad situations. Now, the Consumer Protection Agency and groups and the advocacy groups need to step up their game in this aspect, because they are one of the few people. They are one of the few people that we can actually reach out to say, do we have this issue with someone who's not lost it, though they are trying to help her lose 68 million naira.
I'm telling you, and then I heard that she went back.
Then the central bank.
Yeah.
The central bank at some point became very active, and people could report. You could report an incident and say, oh man, they took
my bank. Yeah, you could report your bank.
But lately, we haven't really heard how effective they have been in that aspect. And these are the outlets that, look, it's already hard to get money. Not just in Nigeria, anywhere in the world now. Then you now get the money, and some people are now playing tumbu basketball. Oh, your 68 million. Okay.
Oh my God. There's
a Notorious B.I.G. song that I cannot use the chorus, but it says somebody that, I'm sure you know that song. Somebody's got something, Sha. Because I tell you,
see, the MD of First Bank
money that I work
will
for
come. Let's not even see.
Let's be respecting ourselves.
Let's just respect ourselves.
But this is one matter that we're going to stay on top of.
Yeah, we definitely would. We'll see where this is going. I think this is a huge indictment of First Bank. They need to sort it out and sort it out fine. They do not just need to return this woman's money. They also need to
with interest, though,
apprehend the people that were behind.
And let us know.
Let's know what exactly happened.
Yes.
Was there a was there a glitch in the system? Which is possible,
a glitch.
I'm not saying
a glitch that systemically and
there could be a
strategically was withdrawing money.
It's technology. Technology. Anything is possible.
That glitch was.
There could be a glitch in the system. Yeah, there could be a glitch.
In Jesus' name, let us need those kind of. Let us not meet those kind of glitches in our lives.
All you specifically once a particular
The
bank.
glitch is the
Let
human
your
being behind
glitch
it.
not touch my bank account. Let's just be far from it. Let's know what we are doing. Thank you
And
very
it's
much.
not just First Bank. We're also saying that
All
other
of these banks, yes.
other issues concerning other banks, similar matters, and these are things that we really need to step up on.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on quickly from that. And good news for people that apply the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. I know we've been saying this for I think since June.
Walai, several deadlines.
No, not even June. April. There's been one deadline on another. But the federal government, the Minister of Works, David Umahi, had come to inspect the road. And now, from that inspection, they're now talking about how the expressway should be completed by mid-September. I think that with someone that applies that road a lot, it is safe to say this is the first time I believe them. Because if you're on that road now, it's almost done. There's just a small portion of that road, which Anyway, when you think about it, August has ended, or August is about to end. So I would have said that it shouldn't even take this long, but August is about to end. So yes, maybe mid-September. So they're saying maybe the next 2-3 weeks it should be done. With the amount of work that is left, I do not think it should be more than that.
We need to have a better way of constructing roads, especially existing roads. We need to look for a better way to manage traffic in and around those places, the palliatives and the alternative routes. And we also still need more detailing when it comes to designing those roads. There are parts of this road that I feel they have neglected, and will still negate whatever good work they've done at some point in a not too distant future. For instance, the axis of the Otedola Bridge, you would have thought that they would have taken into cognizance that depression, when you're approaching Otedola Bridge on both sides, and looked for a way to mitigate the accidents. But in recent times, we've had, a flurry of accidents at that axis. So the road construction has not solved that problem. The same thing with the Kara Bridge axis, where on the one end, where there's Limsim Road, that's on the side of Berger, the road was done underneath the bridge, which is like a bypass or a U-turn, which makes things easier. On the other side of the road, the Kara end of it, is just a whole total mess. It's a dump yard. It's disgusting. It's not. But if you put these things in place, it will help the flow of traffic. And I just hope that they can look into those things.
Yeah.
Nigeria needs a serious-minded government that would take infrastructure from what it is now to
what it should be.
It should be.
Really, I really honestly cannot wait for that road to be free. Like you had said, there's some alternative routes on all that should have been done. Hopefully they will get to it. Also, I feel that the fixing of this road should probably have taught us a lesson that we shouldn't wait for this road to become really bad.
Yeah.
That we have to shut down expressways that are really this busy. With the construction of this road, I think that for the Lagos-Ibadan, they've done a lot of work, especially in the last couple of years, if you've seen the kind of work that has been done on the road. So I'm hoping that in the coming times, number one, because the truth is that there'll be wear and tear on these roads. These things are done quickly. The palliatives are done quickly so that we are not back to where it was before, and then we have to reconstruct the whole stretch all over again. And also, I think that once they move off this, it is high time to look through at least their existing alternative routes already. A lot of them are just probably not good, or even maybe construct new ones so that even the volume of vehicles on this particular one road, it reduces it gives it more longevity in itself. And the truth is that everybody is not, take for example in Lagos, everybody is not going, is not on the same part of Lagos and is not going to the same part of Ibadan. Take for example, so if you are living in Lekki or you are living in Aja, and the Ekpe Expressway, the Ijebu Ekpe Road, is a very good pliable road, there's nothing that you're looking for coming all the way here.
Okay, so for me, in addition to whatever it is that we've discussed about the Lagos-Ibadan Express Road, there are about 2 or 3 things that I want to add and touch upon. If you are approaching Ibadan from the Shagamu bypass, if you start to count the bridges all the way to Iwo Road, you would find that they have bridges connecting different communities across the express, which makes life easier for them. You get, and I think there are about 5 or 6 of those bridges.
Yeah.
But if you reverse and hit the other side
Once
of the road
you are
and you're
past,
coming to Lagos,
Shagam
that
bypass,
is even arguably the busier part of the express, you would not find any of those bridges. None whatsoever. Then, during the construction of this road, they put up one by the MFM church. And I was hoping that they would put up one by the Redeemed Church, by Arepo, and Matogi, and some of these places. We need to understand the importance of interconnectivity and how, access roads
makes life easier for people.
And safer. So it's shocking that they didn't really factor this in when they were redesigning this road. 2, something that runs almost parallel to Lagos-Ibadan Road is the Ogun-Osun River. And it has its tributaries in Lagos. So you find that this river traverses, the length and breadth of some parts of the southwest part of Nigeria. And there are several communities that this river has actually, cut off. And you're not connecting those communities. If you do that, most of them will not come on Lagos-Ibadan.
Yeah.
I'm talking about places like Alagbole, Akute axis, there's so many. If you just go down that axis, and if you connect those people, they would have no business coming on this side of the express too. These are things that they need to look at and get it done so that Nigerians can have, a better quality of life, especially when it comes to road networks and stuff.
Okay, now let's move on from that and let's go to not so interesting story, but when on the other side of it, it might not be so much of a bad story, and this is the story where about almost 300 Nigerians have been deported from Libyan prisons. Now, most of them have basically been issues of immigration and all that. That's how they landed in those prisons. And according to NEMA's Lagos State Territorial Coordinator, they said that these people were sent back to the country directly from the Libyan prison, aided by the International Organization of Migration and the UN, basically helping these people to leave detention and just come back straight into the country. A few of them, 161 of them, had come in earlier, and as of yesterday, a second flight of 137 were added to that number.
You see, migration as old as time itself.
Yeah.
People have had to move for commercial reasons, for security reasons, for whatever reasons. And I don't think it's going to end. For as long as we have this planet Earth and this world to call our home, people will move. But there are things that can be done to mitigate it and correct it. Now, for those who have been arrested with documents or whatever that they should have that they didn't have, or they had that they shouldn't have had because they're fake, I look at a lot of them with actually with pity. There's several people who you find who leave their countries, and they're not just Nigerians alone. They leave their countries because they feel that the grass is greener on the other side.
Which is not a bad thing, but why not just do it legally?
Yeah, doing it legally is the way things should go. You get like the way the world is structured. You're supposed to do everything the right way. You're supposed to wake up at a certain time. You're supposed to sleep for 7 hours or 8 hours, like they say. You're not supposed to ingest some chemicals, but you see, you still do those things anyway. You get, and it's no different. There's no varying degree of what is right and what is wrong. What is right is right. What is wrong is wrong. So people find themselves in these situations and they become desperate. And most times they feel that government, who is their big brother or their father or mother, will not come through for them. So what they do is look for their own solutions. Some will choose a life of crime, and some would decide to, go chase pastures green. Say, look, let's look for greener pastures somewhere. We heard that it's like this somewhere. And at times, it's not exactly true. One of the things that has fueled this Jackpot / forced migration concept that we have is even some of the people who are abroad who would not tell you the way it is.
Exactly what it is.
And they paint a different picture. Some of these things are all going to culminate in what you see. So people will look for a way around it. I've seen and I've heard, even when 30 years ago, when I was even way younger, we had people who will come with maps, and they will show you that they actually just purchased a map from someone who has gone back and forth. And I know people who went on those journeys.
Because of map.
Yes, they went on those journeys through several countries.
You probably never heard from some of them ever again.
Yes, we didn't, but we don't know if they made it across or not. I know I was living in Sule, Lagos, and people would tell you how they were going to get to Cote d'Ivoire and get to Morocco. Some would go through this same Libya, Chad axis and all of that. So there were several things that's gone wrong, and those things are not about to stop. So one of the biggest solutions to those things is for us to fix our countries.
But like you said, people would always move.
That's why I acknowledge that first. And I said to mitigate it, because I said it cannot stop. If I feel, you see, we're talking about immigration and migration and all of those things. What about the rural-urban movement? It's similar. So you see people leaving the villages to go to the townships, to go to the cities, because they feel that in the city or in the town, they can make more money and they can get better and live a good life. These are the real issues. And that's also what translates to people who leave the country. Then they leave the continent and they find a way, one way or the other. So that's what I'm saying. But if you go to the villages now and give them light, you go to the villages and everything that they want to get in the city is in the village. I can guarantee you one thing.
There'll be less people moving.
Less people will move. They have good health care. They have standard schools, like the same kind of schools that you will see in Victoria Island, Lagos. If you find it in Ojokoro, and you also find it in a village, in an hamlet somewhere in Owerri, and somewhere in Zungeru or Potiskum, they won't leave. It's the truth. It's the truth. But everybody sees how their brother who left 5 years ago comes home for Christmas. He has a car, he has a family, he has all of this. Then you want to move to the city. Then the ones in the city are feeling all choked and like, no, I need to step up my game, and they are leaving the country or the continent. And this is what we need to do. But if you take development to them, it will stem the tide. It will stem the tide.
Okay, all right. Well, then, anyway, people just need to be careful. That's me. Even nobody's saying nobody should move, but at the end of the day, no matter how bad things are, or you think they're bad, I think that it could be worse, because now this only God knows. Some of these people, only God knows how many years some of them have been in detention. I won't be surprised if some people didn't even survive it.
Yeah.
So if you're going to go, let's do things the right way. Just do it the right way. That's basically it for me. Moving on from that quickly, and we go to the Federal Capital Territory, where the minister has started on his promises. He has started out they had demolished millionaire duplex in Abuja, specifically in Wuse 1, talking about how this particular building was built on a land that was not allocated. So they don't have a problem with the building. They had a problem that the land was sitting on, the building was sitting on.
This would not be news, honestly, if one, we've been doing things the right way.
Yeah.
Two, if it wasn't Jens on Wike. That's the truth.
Okay.
It's news because Wike said he would
do it, and he's doing it.
So if you are in Abuja and you are in this category, man, good luck to you. Good luck to you. I wish you the very best of luck, you know. But the second thing I wanted to talk about, or the third thing on this matter, is that people are already complaining. And I get that. They will complain. And I want to ask you, what do you want exactly?
We like to complain.
Do you want a country where things work? Or do you just want to find your way around everything? Think about that for a second.
Anyway, let's move on from that quickly. And let's go on to the few stories from a few states. Let's go to Gombe, where it has now been announced in a statement by the Secretary to the state government that the governor has now ordered the closure of all nightclubs in the state, following series of complaints of incessant, immoral, and criminal activities being perpetrated at these nightclubs.
Well, as the chief security officer of the state, they have mentioned the security issues surrounding the operation of nightclubs in Gombe state, right? Across the state.
Mm-hmm.
So if they have gotten that kind of report,
really,
a situation report.
But isn't it shutting down like a whole industry?
Well, it would pick safety of his people over an industry that might be detrimental to the growth of their economy or their security. However, this is where the gist it really is. People are saying it because of the state that it is happening in and the part of Nigeria where it is situated and what might be influencing it beyond security, beyond immorality. Do you understand? And this is why a lot of people are going to be like, it's just a story that they are saying, Joe. It's just, playing to the gallery, and they want to, show the populace that support
Funny enough,
them that this is their thing.
It's Gombe, so it's I don't think that if it was a state maybe like in the southwest or in Lagos, I feel that it would have been, are you joking? Do you understand? So maybe the nightlife is not as serious. Even if it was,
again, in that region, you would look, it's the same region where, not exactly the same state, but the same region where a lot of decisions are influenced by certain situations.
Yeah, so that's why I said that it might be easy to make something like this fly in Gombe State. Now, moving from that and talking about nightlife and going all the way to Delta State, where 67 people were arrested by the Delta State Police Command for attending a gay wedding, alleged gay wedding at night.
Alleged at night? Is it night allegation, or is it the wedding allegation, or the gay allegation?
Everything, all of them.
So in all of these alleged and allegiances and misallegiances, there are certain things that we need to be careful about. Now, on the global scene, the world is cool and calm with being gay marriage and all of that. But in Africa, predominantly in Africa, it's a big problem. There are laws against it. And for instance, I think in Nigeria, if you attend such, you get 10 or 14 years or so. You about 10 or 14 years. If you are actually the one perpetrating or allegedly getting married as a gay person, you also will spend time in prison. So there are laws that govern these things. Mm-hmm. However, the world frowns at it. When I say the world, I mean the West frowns at it, because countries like Russia and China, are also putting their foot down on it. But in all of this, I just want a world that is safe for me and my people, my family, my friends, and us, the citizenry. So everything that government must do must be centered around this, on delivering on all their promises, But I am playing it safe, and that's the truth, because before you know it now, you say this,
I
in trouble
think
here.
that it is,
you say that,
for me,
you're in trouble there.
I think that it is really about the issue of, and it's something that we talk about a lot on the show. It's about the rule of law wherever you are at a point in time. It's not about right or wrong. It's the same way we talk about how theft is bad. It's against the law. How domestic violence is against the law. Really and truly, until those kind of laws are changed, if they ever will be, I don't think that it is right for anybody to go against the law and then make noise about it, because there will always, now they're saying that once investigation is done, they will be charged to court. Especially from state to state. Some people might land in jail just because, they decided to witness. So I think that we really, 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 really need to be careful with the kind of things.
The law has never stopped people before. The law has never stopped people. If you go and check out the crime rate in different parts of the world,
no, that's what I'm saying. The law does not stop people, but
I'm not arguing with you. I'm putting out a position that the law has never stopped people. There are a lot of violent crimes that are being perpetrated in different parts of the world. Mm-hmm. There are laws against it. There are laws against traffic offenses, driving, against traffic. You see people do it all the time. You understand? There are several things about laws, but it's more about us and our morals and what we believe in and stand for. So again, in doing anything that you do, remember that we all are human, and we must all be careful the way we carry on with our lives. Don't do anything to hurt the next man, and let the next man not do anything to hurt this man or that woman. Let us just all be decent and nice people and live a good life and rest.
Anyway, very interesting story coming all the way from NNPP. That's the party.
The political party that is in charge in Kano State. In
Kano State, yes. And that said that their national leader, who was also their presidential candidate, has now been suspended for 6 months by the Board of Trustees.
Yeah, that's even after his former friend and now enemy and rival became the chairman of the other party, the APC, mm-hmm. which he was a member of. And because they've seen him hobnobbing a lot with the president, who is also of the APC. That it's
because of anti-party. Because,
and the man more or less owns the party. He more or less created the party.
But at the end of the day, when you have like National Working Committee, Board of Trustees and all that, those things are supposed be checks and balances. So that's what it is. It's not meant for just one person, except he's the one that is the presidential candidate, he's the national chairman, he's everything.
You are trying to throw shades at somebody. We'll let it slide. Somebody that falls into that category.
I didn't even do.
So
that wasn't intentional. That wasn't intentional.
Yeah, but you do it all the time.
No,
you're always throwing shades.
No, that was
now. Kwankwaso is the leader of the Kwankwasia movement. They wear red cap with white trimmings. Please, if Kwankwaso pulls out his Kwankwasia movement from NNPP,
what's left?
It will just be a P. That's the party.
That's not nice.
All right, but let's see how this one pans out. It's interesting how politics just throws things up and down and in and out for you.
Yeah, quickly, let's move on from that. And now, an expert has now talked in health expert really has talked about how Nigerians seem to consume about 38.6 million soft drinks daily, which, if we look at that, is about the world's highest. I'm not even sure I agree with that number.
It's probably more because some people that don't eat and they just drink.
Not even Nigeria. Have you ever been to the US and you see the amount of soft drinks?
I know someone that used to boast then
I'm
that he doesn't drink water at all.
I'm not sure this is right. I think this is you cannot be bunching Nigerians. I don't think that. Do Nigerians take a lot of soft drinks? Oh, yes, we do. But I just think it's not as bad.
At times, these figures are meant to push an agenda. There's a lot of talk about how they need to put a tax on the soft drink industry.
Yeah.
And that tax would be used to boost the health industry, which I think is BS. But we gather the watch. But in all you do, please remember that water is also good for you.
Yeah, basically, I think that when we really look at it, it's
drink
about
water.
Safety. Just drink. Let's drink a lot more water than.
If you want to take your soft drink, take it, but please drink water.
Maybe you shouldn't. Okay, no, I can't say anybody shouldn't take water.
But just drink water.
Just drink water, yeah. Now, quickly, also, there's now been news about how the 16th Annual Headies Hollywood actor Terrence J and Nigerian actress Osas Igodaro are set to host the 16th Annual Headies,
which will be the second
US Headies.
Because Nigeria used to own this award, host it, but now we're organizing a Nigerian award in America.
Never saw the sense in it.
I'm still bothered, but the organizers believe strongly in what they are doing, and I hope it pays off for them. I really hope it pays off for them. So congratulations to them again on the US Nigeria Awards.
Now, moving on from that, as American rapper Eminem has told Republican presidential candidate in the US to stop rapping his songs during his campaigns.
Well, he owns the property. It's his intellectual property. And if you're using his brand in a way that doesn't represent what he stands for, I think he has every right to say, stop. He's not the first one to say this. I remember that there were some ladies that also told the former President Donald Trump to stop playing their songs at his rallies.
Makes sense, really. It's his intellectual property, and you didn't ask. We see a lot of that. We saw a lot of that even in Nigeria, where some people said that they don't want politicians to use. Maybe people should compose their own songs if you feel like singing. Don't be using people's songs. Anyway, another very interesting story is how Portable, all you enemies, Portable is going on a US tour. Girl.
So one of the things that you need before you go on tour or before you organize a concert is to have enough content to dish out to people. And people would be familiar with most of it before they will buy your tickets and come through. And Portable has actually done a lot of that in the last 2 years that we started hearing about him. However, I don't know how much of that content, because almost every week he's dropping it on, is going to drive the kind of traffic or crowd that you would require to have a very successful show. One of the things that I know was that when he went to perform in some parts of Europe, it would be to a specific kind of crowd and people who are expecting him to sing maybe 2 or 3 songs. But if he's going to go on a tour, would require a repertoire of content, and I really hope that he succeeds, because he's one of the hardest working musicians out there. No matter how crazy or mad he comes out across at times, he's actually very hardworking.
Yeah. Anyway, quickly before we go, finally, the issue of the Spanish FA president does not look like it's going anywhere anytime soon. We know that over the weekend, FIFA had, I think, suspended him for, 6 months. there's a lot of talks back and forth how there are also prosecutors that are now talking about charging into court on basis of sexual harassment and all that now. And he's refusing to resign or step down. The Spanish Football Federation is now asking this man to resign honorably.
Well, I was having a discussion with a colleague about this yesterday, and he felt that the man was being unjustly treated and it wasn't that deep. And I said, yes, look, I get it. It was just a kiss, right? But I asked him one question. If your wife was a member of that team and she gets kissed on the lips and he said people kiss a lot. I said, yeah, they do it. On the cheeks, they rub cheeks together and make that gesture, but they don't really.
But the one that we saw...
To lock lips. I said, how would you feel if it was your wife or your sister? You know, I know you're really close to your sister. He said, whoa, I never thought about it like that. I said, yes, brother. For this reason, he was out of place. He shouldn't have done what he did, completely out of line. And I think that if he had actually done a couple of things earlier, it would not have escalated to this point. It would have
gone to that point. I totally agree. And on that note, that is all we will take today on The Bar. Thank you for listening. Thank you very, very much for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time to give you another wonderful edition of The Bar. Do have a beautiful, beautiful day ahead.